Hello fellow football connoisseurs and welcome back to the Quick Take. Today has been the Armageddon of all Armageddon days for Chelsea Football Club. We have had some media briefings, we have had some injury updates, and we have had some quite disgusting news, might I say. But before I get into that, I'm running a giveaway with OwnASaber.com. We're at 15,000 subscribers. I'm giving away 3 King of London lightsabers. All you need to do to enter is subscribe to the channel and then check the pinned comment down below for more information. Now, in the last video, I covered the news story coming out from Ben Jacobs reporting on Court Offside that there was an update regarding the manager's search. Of course, Chelsea will be, or at least it's expected, Chelsea will be hiring a new manager come the summer. And the 3 names that are mentioned were Robert De Zerbi, Ruben Amorim, and Xabi Alonso. This coming in from Ben Jacobs. Pochettino's future is not predetermined, however, and in an ideal world, they wouldn't want to make a change. And it does look like from the news we've had today that it is really coming down to how far we go in the FA Cup. But in the 2 days since that news was reported, we have had a change in tune from Ben Jacobs. Breaking: it is understood Chelsea will move in a different direction to Robert De Zerbi if they change manager. De Zerbi is also not thought to be looking at Chelsea as a priority. We then had a further update regarding Ruben Amorim, again from Ben Jacobs. Ruben Amorim is not an active Chelsea target. Hansi Flick and Lopetegui could be looked at, whilst Thomas Tuchel return is unlikely. Of course, we heard rumours that Tuchel may return if Todd Boehly and Bedeck Egbali were prepared to swallow their pride and admit their wrongs, but again, it just seems too unlikely that these egotistical billionaires would be willing to do such a thing that would hurt their egos. We then had an update regarding the new manager appointments or potential targets. Of course, Hansi Flick, Julian Lopetegui could be looked at, and even Eddie Howe. So it does feel like a similar situation to what we had last season, where our top 2 candidates were Luis Enrique and Julian Nagelsmann, 2 fantastic world-class managers, and then the list dwindled down to Vincent Kompany, Maurizio Pochettino, and Postecoglou. I think the similar situation has happened now, where we've gone from Ruben Amorim, Xabi Alonso, even though that was incredibly unlikely, and Robert De Zerbi, to Hansi Flick, Lopetegui, and Eddie Howe. Now, out of all those names mentioned, I would, of course, recommend Hansi Flick for Chelsea. I do think shouting, angry German managers are exactly what Chelsea need right now, and I think these players could do with a reality check, working with someone who has been very successful in football in the Champions League, especially in Germany. So to have them working under a coach who has won things at the highest level and knows exactly what it takes to dominate teams the way Bayern Munich did, I think it'll be a change of tune for the Chelsea players. I don't think there'll be as much smiles in the training ground. I think there'll be a lot more determined faces and a lot more determined actions on the pitch under Hansi Flick. We also had an update regarding Julian Nagelsmann. Of course, very nearly became the Chelsea manager last season, and imagine if he did, how different things would be. The tactical brilliance of that manager, we would be playing completely differently. But Julian Nagelsmann did not impress in the last interview. He did not buy into the process. Now, to me, this reads as a PR spin. Julian Nagelsmann did not impress in the last interview. Maybe the last interview didn't impress Julian Nagelsmann, where he realised how piss poor the decision making of the 25 and under transfer market strategy and developing young players and creating an unbalanced squad would be for his fundamental way of playing football. He obviously saw it as an environment where he wouldn't be able to flourish, similarly to how he flourished at RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich, even Hoffenheim. It's stories like this that really worry me, because Julian Nagelsmann, you can say what you want about Nagelsmann, you can criticize him however you want, but he is one of the best managers coming through, along with Xabi Alonso. He's still relatively young in this game, and he's got a long career ahead of him, and if he sees this Chelsea project as one expected to bear many fruits and not believe in that, what does that say for other world-class managers of his level that we might potentially look to try and convince to join Chelsea? I think it'll make it a lot more difficult if you look at someone like Julian Nagelsmann, someone who's worked at, as I said, lesser clubs and gotten a tune out of them, and they've seen Julian Nagelsmann's behaviour and said, well, why has he made that decision? Maybe he's onto something. Maybe I should stay away from that club, and maybe that limits our ability to, as I said, bring in a world-class manager and really sort out our future. Big potential ramifications for the future there with Julian Nagelsmann's story. We then had an injury update for Ben Chilwell and Levy Colwill. Ben Chilwell is now out with a knee injury, and Levy Colwill is out with a toe injury. Now, this now leaves our left back Our left-back options are relatively dire. I think Cucurella has returned to training, or is at least close to returning to football, and apparently Lewis Hall may be returning to Chelsea at the end of the season. A lot of us, including me, believed he had a £28 million clause agreement with Newcastle come the end of the season, but we have this from Rob M. exclusive. Lewis Hall has not yet made enough appearances to trigger a permanent move to Newcastle. The Chelsea Football Club defender is likely to return to Stamford Bridge in the summer if he does not play any more minutes for Newcastle this season. Hall is believed to be a Dan Ashworth-led acquisition. We also have this quite worrying update regarding Victor Osimhen that also ties into the news regarding Nico Williams, which I'll get into in just a minute. This coming in from David Ornstein. David Ornstein has said that Osimhen to Chelsea is very unlikely in a question about Nico Williams. David Ornstein answering a Q&A session. Harry B probably asked him a question regarding Nico Williams to Chelsea. He's a player Chelsea and a number of other Premier League clubs like and have been looking at for a while. I think the size of his salary could be problematic. I don't really agree with that, and therefore I would class Williams to Chelsea as unlikely at the moment. But let's see. January showed that the period of Premier League clubs paying massive transfer fees and salaries may well be slowing down, largely because of profit and sustainability rules. Chelsea, like many clubs, are tight on PSR and therefore will need to cut their cloth accordingly. Today's financial results showed that, but everything I hear suggests they fully expect to remain compliant and will do whatever it takes to ensure that. It means that when we hear talk of someone like Osimhen being signed this summer, I think that it is very unlikely, owing to the transfer fee and salary. Now, of course, Osimhen will not come cheap, €130 million release clause and expected to be on high wages. Chelsea do have a player like Raheem Sterling, who many would, including me, would like to see moved on, 325k a week, but it really hasn't shown to be a 325k a week player, and that money could definitely be better used, or that wage allocation could definitely be better used towards a Victor Osimhen, an out-and-out number 9, a world-class number 9. But it does look like both Raheem Sterling and Mikhail Mudryk are prepared to stay at Chelsea and fight for their places and have no intention of moving in the summer. Mudryk, I can imagine. Sterling, I'd like us to move him on to a Saudi club. They're the only club, I think, at this level who could actually pay his wages comfortably and would do so willingly, but it does look like Sterling is trying to stay at the club as much as possible. And then we have this from Fabrizio Romano regarding Nico Williams. Nico Williams is on Chelsea list of players being monitored. He has a €50 million release clause, so they know all the conditions. At the moment, nothing is 100% decided yet, and there are also other clubs keen, but Nico is on Chelsea list since last summer. I quite like Nico Williams. I think if you pair him with a world-class striker again in Victor Osimhen, then you got a very strong attack there. Speaking of strikers, a final update for the video. Chelsea, as well as other clubs, have scouted Benjamin Šeško multiple times. Let's see what happens in the summer. They are also not working on Victor Gyökeres. I think they have other names. But let me know your thoughts on the news in today's video. A lot to unpack today, and I still haven't covered the financial stuff. Maybe I'll do that in another video. It's very interesting. Ruben Amorim and Robert De Zerbi look like they aren't Chelsea targets anymore, which is kind of weird, especially considering a few days ago they were, as I said, being highly appreciated by Chelsea and looked into as we come up towards the summer. Hansi Flick, Julian Lopetegui, and Eddie Howe. Let me know your thoughts on those potential manager targets. Again, Hansi Flick, I think, in my opinion, is the best out of those three. Let me know your thoughts on Nico Williams, €50 million, yes or no. As always, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. I've been the Quick Take, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.